Hello everyone, how are you all? Everyone fine? I am also doing great. Today I am here to discuss the revision plan for CA Final Financial Reporting for the upcoming exam November 2024. As you all know that in the last video already we discussed how to start or restart your preparation, overall preparation for the upcoming exam. Whether you are writing both group or single group, in that video we have discussed how many time you need to revise, whether that much revision is possible or not, how many number of hours required, which books you need to follow, what about notes, amendment, everything was discussed in that particular video. In that video also I asked you to join my mentorship WhatsApp group and I am happy that most of you, many of you have joined. Those who have joined that mentorship group, I have conducted two Google meetings separately for those students who are writing single group or both group, and we have done detailed discussion about FR preparation. While discussion in that I found that all the students require chapter wise analysis about the revision. Ki how many chapters required, how much revision time, and what will be the order of revision. So this video is actually for that particular reason, to actually resolve all your doubt regarding the FR preparation, about a test series and the revision video. Let us start a discussion about that. But before I start discussion, don't forget to subscribe the channel and don't forget to like this video. Can we start a discussion? You can see I have already created one PDF. Don't worry about this PDF. This PDF you can download from my Telegram channel. The link of the Telegram channel is already given in this video. Join the Telegram channel. Okay, means join Telegram channel. All the stuff of CA final financial reporting will be in that channel only. Correct. Now coming to the discussion, you can see that this entire PDF I have divided in two categories. Means those students who is writing both group, then what can be the plan? Those students who are writing single group, then what can be the possible plan? In that also, in both group and single group, I have divided each group, means each category, in three subcategory. Three subcategory means what? If you are writing this exam for the first time, it is your first attempt, or it is your second attempt, or it is your third or more attempt, then what will be the revision plan? Correct. So based on that, based on my experience, what I have concluded that if you are writing both group and if you are writing this exam for the first time, means this is your first attempt, the minimum number of hours required for FR revision is 200 hours. I am saying minimum. You can increase the number of hours as per your circumstances. That is your choice. That is your choice. Correct. And if it is single group and if you are writing for the first time, then the minimum number of hours required for FR revision is 250 hours. Once again I will say this is minimum. You can increase it, you can't decrease it. Got this? If this is second attempt, then both group student 150 hours, 200 hours. If this is third or more attempt, on the assumption that because this is your third or more attempt, you might be engaged in some jobs or some other profession or some other business, etc. For that reason, I have said minimum hour is 120 and 150 for both group and single group. And already, can I say, if you have this is your third or more attempt, already in the last attempt you have done proper revision, means you have done revision. Now once again you restart the revision. On that basis also I have given 120 hours and 150 hours respectively. Correct. So I hope you have understood that different circumstances may be available for different type of students. Chalega? Yes sir. Now what I have done, the entire revision plan I have divided into three categories. You can see part 1, part 2, part 3. So how many parts I have divided? Part 1, part 2, part 3. In part 1 I have divided, means each part I have divided in sub 3 part. You can see part 1, this is a sub part 1, part 2 and part 3. Similarly for part 2 and part 3. Correct. And for each sub part I will provide you one chapter wise test. Means if you have done revision of these particular chapters, then you can write on test 1. If you have done revision for this particular chapter, then you can write on test 2. If you have done this particular revision, then you can write on test 3. So it means I have provided 9 chapter wise tests. Correct. You can see part wise test has been will be provided to you, and all the test paper will be provided to you without any cost. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Now one question may arise, sir, what about test series, whether we should write or whether we should not write? That I will discuss in the later part. Correct? Yes, sir. Now coming to the part-wise preparation, so you need to start your revision whether you are in any category, whether you are any category. It can be your first attempt, it can be your second attempt, it can be your third or more attempt. Start with what? Part 1, chapter number 1, Ind AS 16. Then Ind AS 38, Ind AS 23, Ind AS 2, Ind AS 20. Revise that chapter, write down test 1 if you want to write. And you can see I have also allocated number of hours for each category. Means if you are targeting that you need to complete your entire FR preparation in 120 hours, for Ind AS 16 you need to give 2.5 hours. For Ind AS 38 you need to give 1.5 hours, and that is required. Normally what happens, we started Ind AS 16 preparation, required time is 2.5, but we have given 4 hours. Eventually what will happen, you will not be able to complete your entire revision of the syllabus in the required time, and then at some point of time you will panic. So if you know how much time is required for each chapter, for each category, then that much time you can give, correct, and you can plan your revision accordingly. Got this point? So when you are revising this, so you know your number of hours also chapter wise. So what about revision video? Don't worry, I have also attached the link of revision video. This video was actually applicable for May 2024 attempt. The same video will be applicable for November 2024 attempt, as there is no changes. Correct? Already recorded video, but you are not supposed to waste your time. You are not supposed to wait for new revision video. You started your preparation, start your preparation, and suppose you feel that you have taken your classes way long back, now you have forgotten everything, so this revision video will help you. This revision video will help you in a great extent. Correct? So what I have done, this chapter you need to click only the link of this video, one video, all the chapters are available. Means you are not supposed to waste your time in finding the revision video for each chapter. Correct? You want to revise this, click this video, you'll get all the revision video for particularly for this chapter. Correct? Can I say it will save your time? Yes sir, yes sir. Correct. Now you can see once you have written test 1 for this, then start your this preparation, then start your this preparation, and once you completed part 1, then you can write down cumulative test 1. Cumulative test 1 is for all this chapter. So after writing test 1, test 2, test 3 chapter wise, you can write down cumulative test also. And the same way I have given for part 2 and part 3. You can see in part 1, I have given very simple chapter. What is the reason behind that? Normally if you start with a big chapter, what happened? Big chapter. So you started with the big chapter, in some way you will stuck. You will not get the momentum. So why to start with the big chapter? First get some confidence. Because confidence will come with simple chapters, and for passing the examination all chapters are important. I will say the chapter from which questions are asked, that is important chapter. So there is nothing to leave. There is nothing to leave. The most simplest chapter is 108, Ind AS 108, but normally I see asking question from that chapter of 10 to 12 marks. So that chapter is important, even though simple. So that chapter also require revision. Understood? So what I am saying, in the first part I have kept small chapters. Only one interesting chapter is Ind AS 115, and by the time you'll reach Ind AS 115, you'll get the momentum of study. So intensely I have kept small chapter initially, so that you can get the momentum of study. Once you get the momentum of study, you can start big and interesting chapter, and you can say part 2, most of the important chapter and most of the big chapters are in part 2. You can see in part 2 I have kept 102, Ind AS 116 financial instrument consolidation chapter. Correct? So part 2 will be thoda sa hectic. Correct? Understood? And it will have most number of hours also. Then in part 3, once again small chapters. You can see small chapters. Only one big chapter I have kept, that is business combination. Apart from business combination, all chapters are small chapters. Correct? So part 1, part 3 relaxation. Part 2 in between, can I say at that point of time your efficiency level will be very highest level. Correct now? So part 2 you revise all this chapter. Understood? Understood my strategy? Can I say this will really help you? Go as per this strategy. Believe me, this will help you. Correct? Now coming to test. Correct. So should we write down a test? So you have provided test series chapter wise, then cumulative test, then mock test. So should we write down the test? This question is very subjective, and most of the student is actually asking this question that, sir, whether we should go for test series. I will say this is very subjective question depending upon student to student. But I'll give some advice because you asked me this question, so it is my moral responsibility to answer that. Now, my suggestion that any student who is writing this FI exam for the first time, whether single group or both group, can I say they should always write down a test. My suggestion that if you have sufficient time, you feel that you have sufficient time, because I don't know about your preparation about other subject. So you feel that you have sufficient time, you should go for chapter wise test as well as cumulative test as well as grand mock test. So any student who is writing for the first time, because you don't have that much experience of writing exam, and you have last written your exam in CA Inter, correct? So I will suggest you that writing habit should be created by what? Writing test. And can I say in that, when you are writing test, you will analyze what mistake you are doing, how much time is required for each question, that also can be understood. So if this is your first attempt, I will suggest you write test if you have sufficient time, and you feel that you don't have sufficient time because you revise other subject also, then minimum you should write down cumulative test and grand mock test Coming to any student who is writing for the second time or third time or n number, or you have written more than that attempt, so can I say already you have written the examination, you have experience of writing down the exam. But if you feel that in the last attempt you are not able to perform an exam day because you are not able to manage the time, if that is the situation, so of course the test is advisable, because what mistake you have done in last time, that mistake should not be repeated, and it is quite possible last attempt you have not taken any mock test, and because of that reason you are not able to perform on exam day. Your preparation was good, you feel that you are constantly strong, but in exam you are not able to perform because you are not able to manage time. If this is the case, so I will always suggest that write mock test. But quite possible you don't have sufficient time, that in that situation I will suggest that write cumulative test and grand mock test, means only 4 test paper, cumulative test 1 2 3 and grand mock test, only this much, correct? And if you feel that you don't have time and you can manage the time in exam hall as per your last exam, means you have attempted 100 marks paper, quite possible means you can manage the time in that situation, then also I will advise you that write grand mock test, and that too what is given by ICI. Grand mock test I will also provide you, you can see grand mock test I will provide you, but I will suggest that write grand mock test which will be given by ICI, that is more important. So even though I am giving grand mock test, there are 2 mock test paper will be given by ICI, soon it will be released, so that mock test paper write, that will help you a lot, but that mock test you can write down only when you have completed your entire preparation. Means if you are writing chapter wise test, first make sure that you have revised all this chapter, then only write down the chapter wise test. Got this point? I hope you have understood about a test series. So once again I will say test series will be provided to everyone, whether you are my student, whether you are my YouTube student, anyone who want that FR test series, it will be freely available, and of course you can download the test series from the Telegram channel. You need to only join my Telegram channel. Now coming to the, sir, will you also do assessment of test paper? Correct, this is also one question. Sir, will you provide assessment of test paper? So of course for assessment, if you want us to do, then it will not be freely available, so that will be at some charges. So for that, if you want to get a detail about assessment, if you want the assessment of your paper, answer paper, then call this number, just write on this number for the assessment of test paper. You'll get the detail about the fees for that particular case. Test paper is free, we'll also provide suggested solution to you all, but if you want that we should, means independent party should check your paper, so of course that will be with some cost. Understood? Yes sir. You have also understood revision video, so you can see part wise all the revision video. So you can see I have provided 9 videos because there are 9 sub part. So if you want to revise this chapter, test number 9, so you need to only click this link, means your revision time means you are not supposed to waste your time in finding the revision video, finding out the revision video. Got this point? Now, one more question is very genuine question. So how many hours we need to study per day? How many hours we need to study per day? For that also explanation I have given in my last video. But to conclude this video, I'll just inform you. Now you have understood कि FR first time revision you are doing. Suppose you are revising first time. So first time you require 250 hours. So second time you can go for 150 hours. Second time you can go for 150 hours. If it is your second attempt, so 200 hours. So second time you can go for 100 hours or 150 hours. That you plan accordingly. Chalega. Now, can you say if you are writing both groups, so just write on FR, AFM, Audit, DT, IDT, IBS. Write on first revision, how many hours required? Second revision, how many hours required? Second revision, how many hours required? Means I will suggest you that if first revision you have taken 200 hours, so you can take 60% of time for second revision. Correct? Means 200 hours, so 200 hours into 60%, how much it is? 120 hours. So second revision can be done in 120 hours. I'm just giving one hint. Correct? Yes, sir. Then can you see you can make a total of this? You can make a total of this. This becomes the total number of hours revised divided by number of days available. So just count the number of days. From that number of days, minus 5 days, because last 5 days will be for your FR, and 2 more days also you can minus because 2 days can be abnormal. So I will say that will be the number of days. Can divide by number of days, you will get how many hours you need to study per day. How many hours you need to study per day. Correct now? So that is also required ki how many hours you need to study per day. You need to make a target for that. If it is coming 15, study for 15 hours. If it is coming 12, study for 12 hours. If it is coming for 10, study for 10 hours. That depend upon whether you are writing single group, both group, whether this is your which attempt, depending upon different situations. Okay? So I can't make one analysis for all the students. So I have just given one plan, one strategy, so that you can plan your revision effectively. I hope whatever I have said you have understood. All the queries has been resolved, and this is definitely going to help you. Am I right or not? Just comment in the comment box whether this plan will help you or not, whether you are happy with this plan or not, and whether you are committed to this plan or not. If you are committed, just write down big yes. Yes, I will follow this, and this time we are going to become CA. This time we are going to become CA. Thank you very much. All the best for your preparation. Love you all. Soon meet you. Soon we'll meet together in another Google Meet. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Love you all.